Um, I, this isn't something I usually make or usually do, honestly. I'm usually really loud and stuff and unserious and saying stuff that I don't mean. But, I just really wanted to talk about, like, everything, honestly. And I really just want to say it out. Like, I wanted somewhere to say it. And I know if I could tell people, I could, and they would listen. But honestly, I don't really want them to listen that much. Sure, I do, as they're my close friends, but at the same time, I just want to say stuff and just let it sit there for a while. Like, how I wasn't too fond of the idea of just being out in the world and stuff like that. And how horrifying it was to see someone I looked up to slowly lose their life. It was so sudden. It really was. It was so sudden. At first I thought it was just him being sick and stuff. And it got to the point where we were at the hospital. You know, I had to go with him. And I loved him so much. So of course I went with him. And I was worried about him. We all were. And, you know, they scanned him, waited days. He only got sicker. And then they told us that it was just like a tumor. Not a tumor, but whatever it's called. And you know, they told us that. And we didn't know what to do. And he kept getting sicker and sicker. Eventually we went to the hospital again. And while we were there, they told us that it was cancer. I don't think I've ever cried that much in my entire life. And hearing the news, we just broke all of us. We really didn't want it to be that. It could have been anything else. But, you know how life is. And he was supposed to get chemo, right? And for once after that day, I was happy for him, since he could have gotten chemo. That would have helped. But they did tell us it was at an advanced stage, so he couldn't fully cure it and stuff like that. So that was sad. He got surgery to help him breathe better, because before he couldn't as well. And while waiting for him to get chemo, they gave him medicine. And I can't tell if the medicine helped, but I do remember him telling us that he was cold. He was really cold. And we didn't know what to do. And I felt really, really sad. Later on, we went back to the hospital. It got worse. And they told us that he would have to stay at the hospital for a while, and he had to go into the what's it called, a U or something like that. My memory isn't as good. And while there, they told us there was nothing they could do as much. They took him up with specialists and stuff, but at that rate they couldn't do anything. And we waited so long to do chemo that it wouldn't be effective anymore. And when we got there, they told us that his two options were to go back home with us or to go to the hospice. If you've ever been to a hospice, it's a sad place to be in. And really, really scary place to be in. So, the hospice was just a bunch of crying. I still remember going there for the first time, just crying the whole time. And while there, got to see a couple faces I recognized, so that was fun. And yeah, but it was really sad seeing everything happen how it did while there. It was just sad. It really was. He was so excited to get chemo, but at the rate he was going, he couldn't get it. And no, he was sad. He wanted to get better for us, and I know that. They told us when we first got there in the hospice that we had like a while left, months even. But in the span of a couple weeks, he was already gone. And he was gone from us. He left us all alone again. Well, not again. He left us alone. He never left our side before that. Sure, he wasn't like a great person sometimes, but at the same time he was trying. He really was trying his hardest. And, you know, seeing his eyes and seeing how he wouldn't respond, I feel bad for my sister, who stayed the night there with him to make sure he had somebody always around him. And you know, like, just knowing that he got taken from us so quickly before, you know, we could do anything. It was so sad. And, you know, just having everybody see that, seeing him be rolled away, covered in a blanket in the hospice, and getting told that he was no longer with us really hurt. It really did. I don't think I'll ever recover from that. It's always gonna be there, and I know that for sure. So that was something. And then It was his funeral. His funeral was just something I wasn't ready for. Not yet, at least. I really do wish there was a lot of things he could have seen me do. And I always just wanted to make him proud. He was my dad after all, right? He was a great person deep down. He was actually an amazing person. He always cared for us. He would make time for us. You know? And I know he had it rough because, I didn't have a mom, so he was a single parent. And it was rough on him. 3 kids. And he was the only one that could provide for us at the time. So that was something. And, he was a strong guy for putting up with me, at least. Because I know I'm really not the best person. I can be a handful at times. And yeah, seeing his casket, seeing him one last time, seeing my sisters break down, seeing everybody around his casket, it was just too much for me. I'm just happy I had my cousin with me at the time, or else I would have just fell down, honestly. Would have curled up into a ball and cried forever and ever. Maybe that's too much of an exaggeration, but I guess, And just knowing that there was nothing we could have done. Well, maybe there was. I could cling on to hope and keep telling myself that there's something I could have done, but in the end, I know that isn't true. I know for sure that isn't true. I'm still a kid after all, aren't I? Well, a teen now. But knowing that this happened so recently is just so upsetting. I really, really care for him. And I really just wanted the best for him. He was my everything at one point, and he still is, basically my everything. Because he was the one who cared for me for a while, He made sure I was fed, made sure I was loved and cared for. Where most people would have just failed miserably, he stood his ground and I did something, He didn't run away. He stood his ground, worked himself to death, and made sure that I could live and have a good life. And for that, I'll always be grateful. Because he was just somebody so influential. He influenced me. He taught me that I could, if I worked hard enough, I could do what he did. Maybe not exactly, but I could. If I worked hard enough, I could be successful. I miss him every day since his passing. And it just hurts. And after his passing, it was just so bad. I remember my cousin trying for me, you know? And my cousin and I are really close. We've known each other since like we were little babies. And she's seen everything that's happened. She saw my mom leave, and she saw my dad go into the hospital and not come out. I know that probably hurt her a lot too. But I'm just happy that she was able to like be there for me, but I really needed her. And I'm really grateful for my friends. Every single one of them. If I didn't have my friends, then I probably would not be able to make this little video. And this is mostly just me talking about my dad, because he really meant so much to me. He was so influential. I can't even speak. Wow. I just suck. And I don't know. He was just so influential. I can't speak. How? But yeah, you know. And it was like so much to do with, but I'm just glad that I had everybody I did. I'm glad I had my sisters. I'm glad I had my cousin. I'm glad I had my friends. Everybody I know helped me through this so much. And I really don't know how to thank them. I could give them gifts, I could give them everything, and that still wouldn't be enough. Because I almost gave up my life. And I was so close to doing it too. But that's not what he would have wanted, is it? He would have wanted me to do something. And my goal is to make him proud, so might as well try, right? I do want to make him proud. I do want to just I just want to make myself known, because I really wanted to give him everything. The same way he gave me his everything. And I know that I might not be enough. And that sucks. I could do everything and anything, and I probably still wouldn't be enough. He was the greatest. He was the best. Because he was there for me. Even if I was isolated, he would make sure that I was included in a way. And me and him spent so much time together. He would be worried for me when I was sick. And, even if I was faking it at times, he would still be worried about me. He got worried for me when I missed a lot of school. I was being bullied. He would worry about me. And, we always had so many good times. He took me to the park. He walked with me. He couldn't keep up sometimes because he would get exhausted. He was really old, but he was a great guy. And what sucks is that he was an immigrant, so he couldn't get as good of a job as he could have gotten if he was born here. And he was an amazing guy. He really did deserve everything. And him being an immigrant didn't stop him from trying his hardest and giving us his all. He was a hard worker, a really hard worker. And it's a shame that he had to leave me and my sisters behind. But, maybe he was too good for this world. He was kind, too. I know that. But what sucks is I'm starting to forget his voice. That's what sucks about having bad memories. I start forgetting and forgetting and forgetting. Eventually, I'll start to forget his face. I have to look at a photo constantly to remember his face. And the way he smiled, the way he frowned, and the way we both sang a little thing. Because it was our thing. We would always do things together. He was like an amazing person. He was nice to talk to, too. We had a little joke once in a while. We had an inside joke, too. But losing him to cancer made me realize that everything isn't good. It isn't all sunshines and rainbows. That tragedy is still always there. And you don't want sympathy, honestly. I don't want to be treated differently. I've always been treated differently, but I don't want sympathy. I just want to talk to people. I don't like being by myself all the time. And that's why I got a big group of friends, because I don't like being alone. If I'm alone, then I don't like it. I just want to talk with people. And I'm happy that I have my friends with me. And that I can do everything I do. That I can live a normal life. That I can have friends. That I'm not by myself in all of this. That I can really live with no regret, as long as I do what I want to do and achieve what I want to achieve. And that's all thanks to my dad, an immigrant who worked his hardest, who worked himself to death, who provided for 3 kids, who was the strongest guy I've ever seen, my idol. And I'm just sad that I had to watch him suffer and slowly but steadily lose all the hope in his eye to recover, especially in the hospice. That's when it got the worst. And knowing he passed will always affect me, but I know that he would want me to live and he wouldn't want me to cut it short. And that's about it. I just really wanted to rant a little bit since I don't do it as much. I don't really like putting people, well, not putting people, like burdening people with my, own insecurities and own struggles and stuff like that. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I want to say thanks to my sisters, to my friends, to everyone that I talked to about this. I really want to say thank you. Thank you for not, letting me end me, basically.